Hello and welcome to Session 2 of Junior Achievement Career Success. My name is Kyla Schroeder and I work with Domtar Paper Company in Hawesville, Kentucky. In Session 2 of Career Success, we're going to continue talking about how to get and to keep a job. Last session, we focused on creativity and critical thinking. In this session, we're going to focus on our communication skills. Let's define the term communication. Communication is the process of sharing thoughts, questions, ideas, and solutions. There should be a difference in how you communicate at work versus how you communicate with your friends or at home. One example that comes to mind of this is if one of your buddies asks you, hey, how'd your weekend go? What'd you do this weekend? You might go into all the details of, oh, I went to this party and so was there and they wore this or they were with this person. You might find yourself telling details of that party of what went on. You probably wouldn't answer that question the same way if your boss or a supervisor asked you. I'm not saying to lie or you should, tell them something you didn't do, but you would probably phrase that answer differently. You might say, oh, I had an enjoyable weekend. I spent it with friends out on the lake, things like that. As discussed in the last session, businesses need employees who will make the company's interest a priority, not their own personal interest. It takes effort and practice to remain professional and respectful at work, with your boss, with your coworkers, and especially with customers. Let's review some tips for workplace communication. You want to carefully choose your words. Carefully choosing your words both in writing and in speaking. You want to avoid slang or casual terms. Text, email, and instant messaging is used quite frequently at the Domtar mill. And even though it might be faster to use, BRB or some emojis, abbreviations to get your message across, that might not be the most professional way to communicate in the workplace setting. Some more tips. Stay professional in your nonverbal communication. This includes your facial expressions, hand, body gestures, posture, your tone. For example, eye contact is very important to businesses. At work, don't look bored or angry or, slouching in your seat or arms crossed like you're really mad or, be aware of your presence, how your presence is perceived to others. I've had the opportunity to partake in many different be on many different interview teams at Domtar, and if a candidate comes in yawning, slouching, just appears really irritated during the interview, do you think that makes a very good impression? Do you think the employer thinks, oh, that person's a real go-getter? No, probably not. Your body language is key. What about using active listening? Concentrate on what someone is trying to say. Don't just wait for it to be your turn to talk. Repeat their message back to them and make sure you understand. It's never a good thing that if you're supposed to be listening to someone and they're done talking and they're looking at you like, why aren't you responding? You go, oh, what'd you say? Always make sure you're listening. Avoid multitasking. In the workplace, it is unprofessional to be looking at your phone or working on your computer while someone else is speaking to you. Pause and give the speaker your undivided attention. If you're in a meeting, don't sit there checking Facebook or scrolling through your emails. You're not being respectful to those who are presenting and also those that are in the meeting as well. This is also, true in school. If your teacher's trying to teach a lesson or, you're working on something, put the phone away. By using these tips for workplace communication, you can help project a positive image for yourself and the company you're representing. Conflict and conflict management. Let's go over the definitions of those. Conflict, a disagreement over opinions, principles, or interest. Conflict management, the process of handling conflict fairly between people with opposing needs, ideas, or goals. While it is important to use good communication skills every day, it becomes even more important when conflict arises at work. Why is conflict management important? Conflicts happen. People are going to disagree. It's unavoidable. People are going to have disagreements. As an employee, you are expected to handle work conflicts with your mind, not your emotions. I always say, think before you speak. If it feels good at the time to say it, it's probably not a good idea to say it. Think about what you're going to say and the possible repercussions of you jumping into a conflict and saying what's on your mind. You don't want to regret it afterwards because you can't take your words back. If conflicts are handled well, there can be higher quality work and a better work atmosphere. If conflict festers, it costs businesses and employees a lot of time, money, and energy. No one wants to work in a hostile work environment from a conflict that's not resolved or not handled properly. So let's review. Employers want and need employees with good workplace communication skills. Learning to deal with conflict is crucial to your success, not only in work, but in life. In our next session, we will discuss using collaboration and creativity to excel at work. And as a reminder, many employers report that new workers lack workplace communication skills. If you begin practicing these now, you will have an edge when competing for jobs in the future. Now you're going to take some time with your teacher or advisor and complete the Session 2 activity. Thank you, and we'll see you at the next session.